Morning, Castro here. REEFER versus drive-in. The pros and the cons. Rates. Is it good for you? I'm going to give my opinion on this. Let's start with the rates, right? REEFER, you're always going to do better with REEFER. The rates are higher with REEFER than drive-in. Across the board, across the nation, there's no doubt about it. And that comes with, some cons, right? And that can be for too much for some people. So that's why most people will stick with drive-in instead of REEFER. Now I do REEFER, right? I can talk all day why I prefer REEFER over drive-in because of, one, the rates are higher. Two, I also believe you just have more availability to you as far as not just the spot market, but just in general across the country. Because frozen and refrigerated stuff just doesn't stop. It's just food will never really stop. And it's consistent. And consistency is where you want to be. Now the cons with having a REEFER unit and dealing with it is, one, the REEFER is loud, the noise. The noise can be a little something. I don't know if you can hear mine. It's on right now. They're loading me up. I'm in Nebraska. And yeah, it has like a little hum. But after a while, you don't even notice it. In the beginning, you kind of notice it, but overall, you don't really notice it. When you're laying in a bag, yeah, you can hear the little hum and all that crap, but that don't do nothing. It really doesn't bother somebody like me. It may bother you, but it doesn't bother me. Now, another pro is, like I said, that availability. You have way more freight to choose. And sometimes with a REEFER unit, you can take a drive-in load. Which is also fortunate because you don't always have to have it on. And some places need just the trailer and don't really need the REEFER on. So I think why not have both options at the same time, So between the rates, the availability, and all the possibility with REEFER across the country, I prefer it, and I think it's a big pro. Now, the cons of REEFER, like I said earlier, the humming, that's one of them, the engine noise. Some are louder than others. Some are not, some are more quiet. So that could be the negative I was talking about as far as the sound. They're loading me right now. Shaking the hell out of me. You're going to see a lot of shaking. That's not me. That's just them loading me right now. They're loading the REEFER. So another negative is, the maintenance of it and fuel. You have to, put fuel in the REEFER. To maintain it. You also have to get oil changes. It's because the REEFER is actually an engine. It's a diesel engine. And it needs maintenance. And you have to baby it. You have to take care of it. You got to, make sure it gets its oil changes, check its, all its fluids, oil, things like that, and stay on top of it. And also, it can also be a little scary at times, because if you're, say, driving and you see your orange light come on, a little digital LCD screen, I'll show you. That's not a good thing. That means there's something wrong. Then I'll have to go stop, go look at it, see what's wrong, clear the code. And that can be annoying, and it can also be nerve-wracking. Also, if you're sleeping and you're used to the light hum on the back of the wall of the truck, and then suddenly you hear silence. I had that one time. And I had ice cream. Ice cream was at -20. So I'm chilling in my dream, having my billionaire dreams is always sleeping. Got my hair up, chilling. And the engine just stops. So I'm like, hold on. Jump out the bed, throw some flip-flops on, jump outside real quick. And there was a code that said, stop for unknown reason. And I was able to clear the code, and I cleared it up. But then, having ice cream and all this, you're responsible as the carrier, right? So when you sign these BOLs and these contracts, you're very responsible. You're fully responsible for the whole load. So if they get their ice cream and it's melted, that's your fault. Seafood, another thing, have to be held at certain degrees. Ice cream's at -20 mostly. Seafood will be somewhere between -5 to -15. I really stay at -10 with seafood, right? Then you have frozen chicken, -10, Tyson's. I can go on all day. And you have to maintain these temperatures. Because on the REEFER, there's a little USB thing where you can stick it in. And sometimes I've had some receivers and shippers, even the brokers sometimes ask me, can you send me the USB of what the REEFER was doing? just to see, what it was saying, how it was running. I've had that once or twice, and I cleared. I was at -10. I maintained. Everything was good. So I was good with that. But that's the part of it that is not for everybody. So if you've had a bad reefer experience where it went bad on you, and then you caught a claim, then I can understand why you don't like reefer. However, the people that catch a claim are not doing their maintenance. And when I say doing their maintenance, it's like a car. You have to change the oil on the reefer. You have to pay attention to the reefer. Check the fuel. You should not drive, say, 9, 11 hours and then, drive a whole lot of time. Park up. Leave your reefer fuel at, say, a quarter tank and go to sleep. Now, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes, depending on the temperature, where the fuel doesn't really go down so quick. But I think how I do it is, before I go to sleep, I'll make sure I'm over a half tank. Because you don't want to wake up in the morning and realize it shut off because of no fuel or something like that. So these are the little things that you have to be, cautious of to protect yourself and to protect the load. Because the load is you. Once you sign that paper, you are in, your company, which is my company, Castor Transport. Once I sign, I'm liable for the whole thing as a carrier. So that's the part. But most people that don't like reefer will be the ones that really don't want the responsibility. And I'm not trying to say they're not the go-getters and they're not people that want to go out there and take the risk, but without risk there's no success, And there's a reason why they pay reefer more, because there's more responsibility. It's the waiting times can be a lot more than drive into. It's another negative with reefer. But once again, if you do your preparation, that's just not gonna matter. Because I'll get out, take a walk, watch a movie. I got the Xbox, talk on the phone, videos, rah-rah. I know how to make use of my time. And I'm totally comfortable being by myself. Totally comfortable. When you spend your whole life having fun and, socializing, it's good to be by yourself sometimes. Trust me. Very therapeutic for the mind. So, hold on. Reefer people are here now. Hold on a second. How you doing, bud?
He's just about finished with you here. He'll be done in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and have you sign your stuff here. This is your seal that'll go on when you close up. That is for your first delivery in Sutton.
Uh-huh.
And then I got it here in order. So you got your second one for Taunton, third one for Lynn, and your fourth one for Chesterfield.
Got it. Just gotta sign those up?
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Thank you, man. Got my seal. So, as I was saying, I'll put this on when they're done. So, yeah, I got some beef here. It's all the paperwork, Every stop has a seal, see? Not gonna get into the paperwork too much, but you know what I'm saying? So, every one of these is a responsibility. So as a whole, it can be a claim, it can be very big depending on, if that reefer stops. So it's important to have that responsibility in your mindset that you can handle it. So going back to people that are not as responsible and don't really want that pressure, I think the drive-in is a good option. Because the drive-in, you still make good money. It won't be reefer money, but it's good money. Don't get me wrong. In respect to drive-in, there will be sometimes some loads that can give a little more than reefer occasionally, depending on what you're picking up. It's very rare though. You'll ever see a really, really good rate. Because across the board, nationally, when you compare miles to reefer and drive-in, reefer always gives you more. You can check that load board, truck stop. No matter what you look at, you're going to see the same thing. The rates will always be higher because it's more fuel, it's more responsibility. So yeah, that's really the con with reefer. So it's like a con and a positive. It's a con because if you're not mentally tough to deal with it, then it's not meant for you. And I would never push that on anybody that knows they can't do it and knows they can't, pay attention to things like, being able to troubleshoot the reefer if something goes wrong with it, or having your phone numbers ready. No matter where you are. I'm in Nebraska right now, in Omaha, Nebraska. If I pull out of here and something goes wrong, I already know the numbers to call. I already know who to do, what, how to go about it, what to look into. And this goes into the mindset of being ready for anything. You got to be ready. Drive in. Now, let's go into dry van now. The dry van, there's a lot of freight with dry van. I can't front on that. There's a lot of freight, and the money's there too. There's decent money there. Across the country, there's always going to be a dry van situation, no matter where you go. And I feel, I don't want to say it's easier. It's still work. You have to work. I'm not going to take that away. You still got to drive. You still got to go through certain things, all the stuff that a reefer driver goes through. But you don't have that responsibility to reefer. But at the same time, you still have your own set of things you got to deal with. But the good thing is that once it's closed, you don't got to worry about anything. Another thing with dry van, I also noticed too that when it deals with DOT getting pulled over, they pull those over a lot more than I noticed with the reefer. As in the reefer, they know it's running, because I was going by the border one time, and just certain areas like South Texas and stuff like that, so they pulled over a lot of dry vans. And the reefer, I don't know, just for some reason I don't really go through much. I'm very fortunate like that. I take care of my stuff. I have my pre-pass, I have my drive-wise, and I have things lined up where, I put myself in a position to keep driving, efficiently, while being compliant, with DOT and everything else. And it, so the dry van, like I said, I think it's still good. I'm not going to knock it. It's still work. It's still trucking. It's still driving. It's still very positive. And if you're in a position to get going with that, I suggest to get going with that, because it can be very good, especially in these hard times in trucking. For owner operators and small carriers like myself, it's very hard right now. But if you're a company guy and you have an option of choosing, the reefer or the dry van, and the dry van can be the easier option. Definitely go with it. There's really nothing much to it. Just a lot easier in my opinion. And that's really it. It comes down to what you want to do and how you want to do it. So, thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good day, y'all.